third time's the charm, or something. I heard that hit the floor.
I heard it before too.
I don't know where it is.
It's underneath your chair.
Oh, there. There's one right here.
There's another one.
Where? That's a great way to start the stream, by the way.
Oh yeah, talking about the dog's toenails.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Gloria's cutting Lafayette's nails. Anyway, look at this beautiful quilt you've got going on here. And only some of it looks terrible. The rest of it looks okay. Welcome back to another episode of Under Construction. We're building the mega route Tolbrand. The Tolbrand.
Ooh.
Oh, poor pupper.
I think I got a little too close.
Tolbrand Peninsula.
Stop. It's okay. It's
In
okay.
this,
It's okay.
the day of my daughter's wedding, Trainz Railroad Simulator 2022, also known as the next, the one that I'm gonna have for a couple of years, then they're gonna replace with something better, and then I'm gonna have to buy that one, even though I pay a subscription. Really, nobody can win with Trainz these days. I mean, it's either. Oh right, I said we're not starting down there. We're starting this area. I'm not sure what to do with yet.
I'm not even close to the pink pupper. Stop.
Oh my god, this dog. He does not want to get his nails clipped.
But he needs to because he's cutting up my legs.
Well.
Listen you. Listen here.
I think you might be like snipping part of his pads, not just his, you know.
No, I separate. Babe, this is what I do.
Well, I don't know. He's sensitive.
Okay. Your tip. Shut up.
Just to see how it feels. Just the tip.
See? That was just a tip. It's okay.
Everything makes you uncomfortable.
Stop.
Anyway, we're gonna work on this area.
What makes you feel?
Hey, KS1. It was the Archer line. Anyway, sort of sedate start, I guess, aside from Lafayette. I'm just gonna do these edges here so we can make this area quote-unquote done. Yeah, it has been a hot minute. It's good to see you around. I think the last time that you and I sort of talked, and these are considered like 0.75 of our conversation anyway, it was during a community playdate in Railroads Online, which I'd like to get back to that sooner or later, but people keep dropping, and we need the splines, and yada yada. I mean, irrespective of what's been going on with RO, I just want the next update to be out. So I'm gonna take my sweet time with this. I'm gonna be a little sedate, little chill with this, considering last episode culminated in an hour of me going, oh my god, what is going on? Why don't I have a spreadsheet for this? Yada yada. Ended up making a spreadsheet. Hope you guys are excited to see that. It's not really much to write home about yet, but we are going to make good use of it. Still stuck with the same paradox I had last time, though, which was the stuff that's going further should be done earlier in the day. That strikes me as sort of the way to go. Welcome, Sherry Dunbar. Let me slide the window over so I can see what I can see. And yeah, the stuff that's further away, obviously we haven't built yet. I don't even know what is necessarily there. So some of the things, yeah, I know we're gonna need to like send out the intermodals. Happy 6:30 day, Bomer. That's a good one though. That's better than 2 Pi day, which is what my school was sending me. Hey, Stellar. My school was like, oh, RPI, get it, RPi. We celebrate 3.14 because we're quirky and nerdy. We also celebrate 6.28 because we're quirky and nerdy. Like, too much for our own good. I saw a post on the RPI subreddit that was like, did you know that we had a model railroad club? We made a module. And I'm like, yeah, you used to have a good model railroad club. F, F the establishment. I mean, not just in the, I mean, not, for a multitude of reasons. Many establishments, all the establishments. Um, every establishment you can think of. McDonald's. It's an establishment. Anyway. I'm not going to get that deep into talking about politics today, hopefully. So, I do want a little buffer zone on the edge of here. Sort of like Putin. Haha, politics. I'm just going to get this whole edge, and then we're going to go over it with, I guess I'll go up to the bridge. Yeah, we'll go up to the bridge. The other thing is, for most of these areas that aren't farms, they're going to be tree covered, except for where the slope is too steep. So we need to go and figure out where the slope is too steep. Now, the other thing is, these edges are actually fairly steep that we've got right here. In fact, that's why I wanted to put together one of those little culverts, but like for livestock. Obviously, these aren't livestock fields, but oh, excuse me. Okay. Um. Yeah, this just strikes me as... Let's see. I want some sort of bridge or culvert here. I'd like something relatively old. Whew, excuse me. Excuse this time. Thank you. Show search filter. I know I've looked this up before, but we're going to see what we have for culverts. Okay, so culvert pipe, culvert large. Yeah, there's this thing, which I've used time and time again. But it isn't great because, it's just a cube with a thing on it, with a texture on it. It doesn't actually go through. I mean, if I do it, it sort of strikes me as tacky and very old. Very old-fashioned. You don't use these anymore because you've got better stuff that you can use. It is just a brick. The other thought that I just had is using this, but also using dig holes to get rid of the ground, or I'm thinking maybe we have some of these old 4-track bridges, these like stone bridges, right? That they remind me of. I guess I don't. I guess they aren't called bridge. Um, oh, thank you. Happy 4th of July for you too. There's. It's a really old stone bridge. Not like old as in old to the game, like old, like it's designed to look very old. And I think, yeah, this. The only issue is it's very narrow. And it's also got these, sort of pieces of track on it. And my issue with this is I can't hide the track But maybe I can do something. Maybe I can make some sort of hybrid. Let's see if there's a 3-track version of the DLS real quick. Not much. Welcome to the stream. You didn't miss much. Track. Let's just, I'm just gonna Google this, or I'm gonna go on the download station, I'm gonna look up Stone Viaduct. Stone Viaduct double, no track, no. Stone Viaduct Spline 3, no. Stone Viaduct support. What is this? And what is it? What did I just download? Oh, this. Oh, holy crap. I didn't intend to download a skyscraper. So, there aren't 3-track versions. I thought we could maybe use 2 3-track versions. What about a pair of 2-track versions? No, see, those are all too narrow. And, see, what I would like to do is just have them here, dig hole this out. But otherwise I would have to have these guys too close together. Maybe like some sort of 4-lane arch bridge, but I don't think that's a thing that we have. It just doesn't seem right to me to leave this like this. And I can't just drop a dig hole down, because that wouldn't work. Whatever, I guess we're just gonna go with this unless I find something else better. I don't like it, but I feel like something has to go here. And we'll slide it over by 1, so that we're not interfering with a crooked edge. I just wanted to represent some sort of very old stone bridge that might have been on this site, or some sort of pass-through, you know. But I can't quite do that, because even if I were to go with the smallest brush, high sensitivity, how about? What is the? Oh, maybe I can do this with a 5-meter grid that I wasn't able to do previously. Oh, maybe we can actually do this. Except I've just lost that in the ground. Rise.
I love him so much.
But
clipping his nails is like pulling teeth.
Yep.
Oh,
okay.
We're done.
Well, that's good. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. A nice walk on the pavement should file those right down. Maybe I'll take him for a walk later. We're done with this. Hello, comrade. Hope everyone's having a chill day and looking forward to a chill 4th of July weekend. Chill long weekend, if you get it. I don't know why, I'm not energetic today. Been reading too much news, all doom and gloom. Alright, so let's slide this forward-ish. It just doesn't quite do what I want it to do. Oh, and there's the lady with the 2 white dogs outside, I can hear her. Hey, it's like Tunnel Boulevard TVRM before the city blew the top off. I'm not familiar, but I can believe it. There's all sorts of stuff like this. Really, I did this so that I could slide these guys closer in, and then I didn't do that. But honestly, I wanna fill this in with like vegetation. So that it's not super obvious the fact that these are not, you know, not even that they're not that they don't fit. It's almost the Fourth of July. It's Fourth of July in a couple days. It's this weekend is Fourth of July weekend. I should be specified. So, should look up Tunnel Boulevard. Oh, you know what? For a sec, you thought the worst. What is the worst? That you've lost several days? You know what else I'm gonna do with this? I think. Yeah. Now we're talking. This sort of stuff. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe we're in business here. Although these aren't great. Being European makes your timetable go off. Yeah, no, that... Yeah. Okay, these have crazy wing walls. Not super helpful, but I think you guys get the gist of what I'm going for now. How to make homemade for legal reasons, that's a joke. Concern. 1/36th scale. What is 1/36th scale? What would I... That's like... O gauge-ish? For legal reasons, it's not a joke. For illegal reasons, it's not a joke. Yeah, there you go. Okay, hold on. Check this out. This is gonna look real dumb. We're playing with fire. Not quite. Okay, how bad does this look? You know? I've made worse. In fact, I literally just made worse. If I do a little bit of this, and I'll smooth the edge out so it's a little less abrupt. Oh, it's more like S and H O. I thought 1/78th was HO. Oops. I don't know. I'm not the guy to know these things. Okay, I wouldn't. You don't have to. You don't have to suck my dick over here. It's not a masterpiece, but it's going in the direction that I want it to go. Anyway. All right, there we go. Let's fill this in. And then let's do this side. Magnum, yeah, exactly. Mine ended early, 28 minutes early to be exact. Your fireworks ended 28 minutes early? You expect it to last for half an hour? Never mind. There we go. Smooth that out, and then we'll just need to do the texturing for that. And honestly, we'll leave the center of this dirt because like I said, I am just gonna sort of fill it with grass and shrubs. because obviously it would not have been used recently or really even in recent memory. So, anyway, C4 makes me think of Tannerite, which makes me think of the fact that we did determine that Dean will in fact buy a Volvo and enjoy it. No matter what he tells you, that's the truth. We've lawyered it out of him. Okay. There we go. There we go. No longer in Maine. When was this part of the railroad constructed? Are you talking, uh, like, when on stream, or like when in the chronology? Because this would have been built during the great sort of rebuilding period. Or, well, it would have been originally built sometime in the last 70 years. I am not sure. See, I suppose you could find some sort of discrepancy in my chronology of Olive when it comes to when the railroad was rebuilt. But this would have been sometime after the Jefferson and Gilson. Okay, yeah. So this would have been in the early 1900s. Probably between 1900 and 1920, maybe a little bit earlier. The big merger between the Jefferson and Gilson and the other railroad, which again I sort of forgot the name of, but I did write down somewhere, is in 1904. So it's between those two. It's between then and now, and it would have been after that, shortly after that, when they decided that they were going to sort of rebuild their right of way. They grade separated things. They upgraded everything to a 4-track main line, that sort of thing. So it would have been around there. Remember, get your dates together. If one doesn't connect, it breaks everything. Yeah, exactly. Not much Mopac. Just having a sort of sedate little day, chill little day. Work wasn't too bad. Like I said earlier, I spent too much time reading the news and got depressed. Uh, but don't really want to talk about that too much. Mostly just want to sit here and route build because I've been eager to get back to this, and I'm looking forward to sort of making use of our spreadsheet and possibly even adding to it substantially. No, as a hobby bus steam engine, get your quartering right, or any steam engine. Full-size steam engines also, you need to get your quartering right, and it helps to not run them off the end of track and yell, "Oops, we went too far." I had my attention directed at that video again today, and oh man, never fails to make me cringe. Some people, some people just you can't give them a steam engine. I mean, it's one of those things where you see these people playing around with a 2-foot gauge engine, and you go, "Oh, but that could have been me." Like, I want to play around with a 2-foot gauge engine. Oh, you want to? Do you guys want to make a second culvert over here? That sounds like a great idea. Let's make one exactly like we made the one before. So go straight through here. Now that we know what we're doing. 180 degrees. Shouldn't it be 90 degrees quartering? Hence the term, quarter. Poop. Oh, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why are they one every other? I got to hang out with I had like a really nice vibe earlier with Hem and TJ, just sort of hanging out, listening to music for a good 20, 30 minutes in one of the chats on the Discord server, which, for those of you that aren't on, we have a Discord server. For those of you that are on and don't have fan rank, you can do that. That's a good idea. But, you know, just sort of listening to music with the other music bot, not the one that runs Iron Horse and Radio. So we have two, you know. We have two, one for the radio and one for everything else. The radio is supposed to run 24/7, which it basically does with a handful of interruptions here and there. Sometimes the bot just bugs out and stops working. And then we were using the other bot just to sort of listen to some chill music. It was nice. I enjoyed it. It's nice to feel like you have friends, as I often say. You know what else is nice? Not destroying your embankment. Alright. There we go. So, you know. Looking forward to sort of next endeavors. Like I sort of mentioned last time, Bacon Line is on hold for now until Spline update and what have you. Maybe when my co-host lives calm down as well, because that's a thing. And with that, I've sort of thought about, oh, what can I supplant this with? I'd like to stream some more. I'd like to put some other games into the rotation. I've been playing Kerbal Space Program a lot, but that's one of those things that I wouldn't want to like start from the middle. I want to start from the beginning so that everyone can be along for all my losses and etc. I've been playing it hardcore, you know, no quick saving, no saving. Everything I do is final. Except for like once or twice where I've gone like, oh crap, that was a really dumb mistake. But not one that's consequential, like I've killed someone. It's just like, oh, I accidentally sped past my maneuver right after I load into the game. Maybe if I just force close it and reopen it, I'll be back 5 minutes. Never works, actually. I shouldn't even be trying because I haven't learned that it does not work. But you know, I'll be honest with everyone and say that yeah, no, I did try to save scum a couple times, but you know, that's life. Don't do it in XCOM. Do it in KSP a little bit. Civ a lot. Oh, that's the other thing. We need to put in sort of a bridge deck here, don't we? You have a tiger. Cool. Okay, so we need let's try like a girder bridge, maybe. Sorry. Because I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to a piece of girder that's. Yeah, I know. Ain't we all? Oh, look at these. Ooh, look at this. Does this guy turn off when there's nothing like in the block? Is that it? Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm gonna have to use these somewhere. Look at these. Let's see if the... Wait, is there one that I sat on? Where's the... Yes, this one. No, not this one. Wait. Yeah, basically this one. It was a little bit shorter than this. This one's a 15-foot one. I think mine was like a 10-foot one because it was up on a hillside. And I like to do that whole Minecraft trope of I did some mining off camera as a house full of diamonds. Yeah, no, Listen, if I like doing stuff off camera, Under Construction as a series wouldn't exist. I mean, think about it. This is just This is just the off-camera work, right? This series is nothing but off-camera work. I could have a 5-minute recap video every episode. Um, well, in fairness, sometimes people do actually do that. Do it legit, and sometimes people don't. If it's like, depends who it is, and it depends what you see the rewards are. But if it's like someone comes out with like a chest full of diamonds, then yeah, okay. Yeah, you can assume that maybe somebody did a little bit of cheating here, and whatever. But if it's like, oh, here's my smattering of stuff, and also here are my like 6 double chests full of cobblestone that we got while I was mining, that it's a little bit more believable. Um, meanwhile, meanwhile, I posit you this: does it really matter? Not that I'm promoting cheating. First of all, Minecraft's a single player game, so it doesn't. There really is no such thing as cheating. Um, that chasm near the river. Oh yeah, what is that? It's just a little river valley. It's like a kill. Also, this isn't really what I wanted to grab. Um, this right here, this is just a little valley. It's nothing to write home about. What did I grab the right texture? I don't feel like I grabbed the right texture. I don't feel like I grabbed the texture that I wanted to grab. Okay, let's go over to the one place I know I use this texture. Where's Jefferson Cut? Aha, there it is. Okay, this is the one I wanted. Where was I? I was over here. At the bridge. And once again, I've neglected the thing that I was doing, which is building the, admittedly, this is a better texture. What is here is, what? Cleavely just sent me, sorry accident. Oh, it was an invite. That was weird. I normally don't bring up the stuff I receive while I'm doing the stream, but that was bizarre to just receive a message that says sorry accident. It's like the time I got pulled over and the first words out of the cop's mouth was, "There's no problem." It's because he pulled me over thinking my plate was a regular one. He ran my plate as a regular plate instead of an antique plate, and it came up as a stolen vehicle. And so he pulled me over. But he realized his mistake while he was like walking up to the car, and so I rolled down the window, and before I could even get a word out, he's just like, "Oh, there's no problem." Like, what? Goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I ran your plate as an antique plate, and I ran your plate as a regular plate instead of an antique, and um, it came up as, it came up as whatever, and instead of, you're fine. I ran it again, and you're fine." So he probably wouldn't have even came up to me. The thing is, I turned into a parking lot at what I guess would be just the wrong time. And he decided, oh, okay, yeah, let me flip my lights on and get this guy before he had finished running what I assume would be the second attempt at getting my... That's not the kind of girder bridge I wanted. Yeah, bendy plate girder bridge. Let's do that. That's too bendy, if you ask me. You need to make it more rigid than that. I think there's an item that's like check rail end. You know what I'm noticing? Now we have more hovering ballast. Okay, is the one with the railings wide enough that it'll cover the ballast? No! There we go. Hell of a note. Note. Um, yeah, okay, there we go. That's... I don't like the fact that this has railings, but at least it's wide enough. Cover the ballast. Yeah, there we go. I'm liking this. This is looking good. Okay. So, anyway. I was thinking about doing Kerbal Space Program. I think I've settled on the next thing. Alright, I thought I had settled on the next thing, and I discussed it with the person who would be my sort of co-host on it, and instead uh, found out or was reminded that they are going away to Europe, so that's not possible. Alright, we're going to have to fix the heights on these as well. But, anyway. So, it was going to be Mondays at Hobart. East and I have taken to switching Hobart, like, bi-weekly, on the Run 8 server that we frequent. And, you know, see the most recent community playdate for that. It'd probably be on the community channel instead of on here. But, you know, I just sort of, you know, if I'm doing something on a regular basis, why not record it? You know, why not stream it? Why not spend that time? But the thing is, if I'm doing something and streaming it, unless it's like this, oh shit. Unless it's like this, I don't know how I would manage to interact with the chat also. Not so recently, a little while ago, I had the pleasure of being on Heist's channel as sort of like an extra commentator and keeping an eye on the chat. That was, I think, he and Leighton did a stream in Railroad Company, which is extraordinarily generic name. But point is, they did a stream in that, and I had the pleasure of tagging along, despite the fact that I didn't have Railroad Company. Oh crap! What is this? Oh, I never changed the description. I usually update it every week. What is it? What does it say? We're comparing. Let me change it. I already know what it's gonna say. There we go. I don't know if that's gonna update in real time. You might have to refresh the page, but make of that what you will. I do like to change it every time. And I try to have at least a little bit of funny. But we're going to have to line these up. So it doesn't matter if they're wonky to start out with. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 little girder bridges. There we go. Now, I realize that I want to make Kerbal Space Program even harder for myself. Yeah, there it is. Because I'm accumulating funds far too quickly. Science has been sort of my hurdle, but even with 20% of my funds income going to making more science, I'm making way too many funds. In fact, I think I want to cut the funds in half. And I would say maybe boost the reputation a bit. But I want to feel like I have to be thrifty, you know? I want to... Once you're over the beginning, having enough funds is not, like, a problem at all. And I feel like it should be, you know? I am so far from being strapped for cash where even if the stuff gets way more expensive right off the bat, I'm, you know, just like immediately, I am still perfectly fine. And that's, eh, you know, I could use a little bit more difficulty than that. I want to have to think about my money when I'm going to make a new spacecraft. Whereas now I can make stupidly overpowered stuff, um, and not even like bat an eye. And I know every game sort of has that moment. It is hard for a game to do that right. You know, it's hard for a game to wait a minute, what's going on here? I want to be the Monon with their passenger cars. I want to be the Boston and Maine with their everything. How about? I want to have to get the most out of the things that I'm using. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but yeah, I do have an issue with these games, or with games where you snowball too hard. Uh, and that's like, and yeah, some of these aren't designed for the long game, and most tycoon games are like this. Railroad Tycoon, Locomotion, Transport Fever, the whole series. Even even things like well, then I was going to say Roller Coaster Tycoon, other tycoon games. Roller Coaster Tycoon, I think, is a good example of one that subverts this because you have other things to keep track of, other like issues, as it were. So, yeah, and you can avoid that by, I mean, if you make the funds game really difficult. I basically I feel like I don't need to use my strategies for anything. Like I need to get more science, but that's about it. Okay, what am I gonna do? What's next? What am I gonna do next? Should I just go along here and do the splines? Should I just finish this area up? Well, I gotta do in here, and this is its own issue. Um, Let me grab. What is this? What is this? Huh. This is interesting. Um, Whoops. Okay, I want to delete that. Thank you. Anyway, give me this road. But yeah, no. As Ace likes to point out, I like to make games harder for myself by excluding an important like part of what they are. That's why I play Coggers like I do. That's why I made Coggers. That's why. What was the one that we were talking about? I don't know. It was something. But either way, I think tycoon games can do an okay job of subverting that if they have other stuff for you to focus on as a player. Like Roller Coaster Tycoon, you have to focus on things like your park rating. The rides break down, and as you have more rides, it makes maintaining that rating more difficult, etc., etc. It sort of it leads to issues, right? That's the kind of thing where you can. What is going on with this? This is weird. Oh, because it's a downhill. Um, Sorry. No, it's just this road acting weird. Why is it doing this? Oh, because it wants to. Never mind. I get it. Sorry about that. I thought you wrote sadness. I was like, why did you write sadness? Um, but yeah, point is, games can do a decent job of mitigating that in the long run. And in the meantime, I like to find things to make that to make either the snowballing effect and make money like not the issue, or to prevent the snowballing effect entirely. Can work to the dictionary sandness. I don't know what you guys think about that. I'm sure you guys have seen it. You guys, I mean, we've done it in the countless locomotion series of it. And once you're over the hump, you're over the hump. Uh, a lot of the time, I feel like those scenarios are designed to push you to the point where your accumulation of wealth is never going to be fast enough to destroy the scenario. At least that's what the goal is. Um, all right, let's think about this. We have this, which leads down to the dock. We should have some other stuff along the shore here. It's going to be very rural, sort of looking, sort of in the woods. We might have a little spur of a road that comes off here. A meeting house or a church at this intersection. And then I guess I kind of want to build like a block here. But that just feels like overkill. Hold on, let's go to Old Saybrook. Because I want to look at Old Saybrook. And in fact, I want to look over the river from Old Saybrook at Old Lyme. Because that is closer to what I'm thinking of. Even now, it's much more built up than it would be. Yeah, so we've got a pair of very old roads that lead out this way. Now, we don't have the choice. We don't have really the option of that because there isn't a road that goes up this way. There is... No, this one's a dead end. The nearest road that actually goes off map this way is this one. Which is intentional. This area is just wilderness. So there'd be no reason to get from here to over there. I guess we'll just leave it the way it is and we'll add some buildings. We're going to need to fill this area in with trees, though. Whatever isn't on the main road. See, and this is the difficulty. You look at modern maps. No, that many houses is... So, you're asking good questions. And the idea is, this is just the opposite shore counterpart to this. And it's, if you are in one of these farms, and you need to get to Mason's Landing for some reason, then you have to come over to here and take the ferry across. And it would make sense that there's like a store on this side of the river, maybe like a church or something over, by the crossroad. I would expect, maybe another lighthouse here, although we already have the one over here. Maybe like a former lighthouse. But yeah, I'm thinking it would be a small town of its own with maybe a smattering of houses. But I just can't imagine there would be much over here because it's either going to be farms, which, yeah, it makes sense. We probably have another farm like right here. And another one right, yeah, okay, so this can basically be farms all the way over here, all the way over here. it's going to be a population of like 10. You know? So let's do this. Yeah. So like this. Um, Not city building. Don't need that. I don't really want those. I don't really want that. I want a relatively small, about like this. No, that's terrible. We're not doing that. Just use this general store building, I suppose. We've used this 1,000 times over. Um, yeah, these are going to be like smaller farms. And what I want to do is I want to have some sort of that's the dock. The marina there. I feel like we could do something with that. Hmm. Doghouse, dog. What is this? Yeah, this can be our dockside building. Complete with graffiti. Shame it's the same on both ends. Think we'll ever have a community playdate in Gary's mod? I mean, it's never out of the question. It just takes people voting on it. Considering that community playdates these days seem to get about 4 votes and win, uh, yeah. If you get like, you know, a handful of people to decide to want to do Gary's mod, then we have Gary's mod. It's really doesn't it doesn't have to pass muster with me. That's the thing. I barely play Gary's mod, but the thing with the community playdate is it's decided by the community. I don't. It doesn't make a difference if I have it or not. Which I mean I have. It doesn't make a difference if I play it or not. It doesn't make a difference if I like it or not. Um, you guys could all vote for Communistopoly, and we'd do Communistopoly. You guys could vote for you know, like freaking. I don't know. What's a game I don't like? I don't know what game I don't like. We could do Fortnite. You know, I don't even dislike Fortnite. It's just the meme game that people don't like. But if people voted on it, I would do it. We would do it. If I can't make it, I appoint someone who can to run the thing. So I don't even have to be there. It's just sort of one of those things where people assume that it's like mine and mine alone. But East has hosted a couple. Uh, uh, so it yeah, it doesn't have to be me. No, but we are in like Americana world, which I wouldn't. Yeah, there probably was and probably is, but either way, I don't love it. Is what I'm trying to get at. I don't love the fact that these are graffitied, which is why I tried to spin it around because I thought maybe I would hide the side with the graffiti. You know what? This is dumb. Can we roll these? That'd be kind of fun. To make like this dock is sinking into the ground. Can we? Oh, how come it wasn't letting me do it? No, it just says... Damn. uh... Also, I need to fix the way the water looks, don't I? Yeah, there we go. You want to reskin the graffiti off the building? I mean, be my guest. It's... What is it called? It's called... Dom... Oh, wow. It's called that. If you want to, you can. But it doesn't make that much of a difference to me, especially because I'll put something on this side to block the view of it from the tracks, and then it won't be a, it won't be an issue at all. Who pinged me? Never mind. Nobody pinged me. It's a conversation in a DM group. Is anybody kind of annoyed that DM groups are always pings? I'm going to... Okay. Sure. Appreciate it. Hope it's not too bad to do. I'm going to put this guy here. Oops. I'm gonna actually put him, in the drink. And then I'm gonna raise him back up. There we go for the dock side. And there we go for the boat. A little higher. D&M pump house. Just put this here. Actually doesn't look bad. Tool shed, Robertsdale complex, electrical substation. And whoa, what are you? That's cool. Gotta use that somewhere. Is there a train wreck here? Actually, it'd be kind of funny to have Boston Main 3666 sunken at the bottom of here. Firewood. See, I covered the side of it. It's not a big deal at all. Put that on an angle there. This is actually a really cool building. I like that. Those are garages. And how about a little gas tank? It looks a little too modern, though. this guy down here. I actually like the way this came out. Yeah, don't worry about this. Ooh, a guild hall. That's what I'm talking about. Gotta use more of those. Alright, let's see. These are much more modern home designs than I think I want to have out here. But I saw one that I liked before I scrolled away from it. These guys with the built-in garages, they just aren't it. This is old school goodness. I want this guy to have horses. How about? And past his house, we'll just do dirt tracks. I know I had those somewhere. Photo dump. It's in photo dump. The southern locomotive? It's a little bit odd. Oh, that's a lot of headlights. That's a lot of headlights. Yeah, why is that a little bit weird? Joe says eyes, and I thought it too. It's just like a pile of eyeballs. I'm not sure I like that. Okay, so I do want to connect just like this. Just like this. Down to here, and that's the ocean side, so there's not really a lot of room for like fishing boats or anything down there. Yeah, so yeah, no, I think I want this guy to have horses. Like he's gonna have a horse, you know, a pasture for hunts. Um, this quadrant I might leave undeveloped or underdeveloped. But I'm just looking at this area, and we have our very small farms before we get into the really big ones. And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, maybe we could do something like that. Maybe we have, you know, half of this be a farm and half of it be a pasture. Maybe a farm or two over here off the road. And in fact, I think, do we have a stone wall? Yeah, like this. But maybe a little bit even older than this. SC stone wall. That's a texture. Is there a food crisis? No. DHR stone wall. Let's download these. These Darjeeling Himalayan Railway stone wall splines. See, I don't like the way that tiles, but it is a lot closer to what I was thinking of. Is that much food needed? I mean, it's just the fact of the matter is that's what people do, you know? Uh, it's even even into like the 70s, a lot of what you'd consider rural Rhode Island was agrarian. And it's just because you've got open space, you can put a farm in it. It's not. That's a retaining wall. Let's try this. No. How about this? Dry stone wall. Not quite the kind of wall I was looking about. Low stone wall. How about this? Um, wall brownstone, wall darkstone, retaining wall, retaining wall, retaining wall, stone wall, old stone wall. And a lot of these walls were even though I mean, yeah. Let's confirm that we were in Rhode Island. Yeah. Uh, a lot of these stone walls. Okay, so that's too tall. Were basically just made of the stones that. Okay, that's too far west. The stones that people would find in their fields as they were trying to plow them, and you would build those into walls, and yeah, that would sort of be that. And yeah, I guess I'll just sort of put this like that. Whereas the other ones are going to. So the 2.0 was one of the two engines in the ZT universe that burned in the Spencer Roundhouse fire. Oh yeah, yikes. I love how I create lore like that and then totally forget about it. That I mean, many of you probably know, but the whole thing about the Spencer Roundhouse fire was concocted on the spot. Uh, Basically, all of the Zombie Train episodes where I was doing Q&A were completely extemporaneous. But that one in particular, I had given a lot of answers that were just like, oh yeah, we got the engines and we used them. Uh, and I was like, okay, I need to take this in a different direction. We need to go a little more wild with this. What if we burn the place down by accident? Um, I still, despite the fact that yeah, admittedly I kind of forget about that. It's not something that's really on my mind. It is something that I am a little bit proud of because, as I said, it was completely extemporaneous. It wasn't planned. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't even something I had thought about beforehand. Usually, I got like all of 3 minutes of prep time before I did those recordings so that I could just check the question and maybe look up something I didn't know. Uh, a lot of the time I was doing the looking up during the recording because, what else are you gonna do? Just sort of hand wave it as, oh well, yeah, we fixed the internet. I can look things up. I think in the very early Zombie Train stuff, I talked about sort of what was ending from Maud. Be a very interesting ending. I sort of what was I saying? Hey, Shortline, you missed me talking about Kerbal Space Program and snowballing. Snowballing your funds, etc. Always thinking about doing KSP again. It just comes up in my brain from time to time. So, what the heck was I saying? Yeah. Either way, point is, I guess I'm kind of proud of my own ability in that regard. In that instance, it just sort of, whoop, hey, there we go. What if what if I did something different with this one? What if we had a sort of serious one instead of a relatively lighthearted? And even though some of them weren't really that lighthearted, some of them I talked about, we attempted to go into the museum in Green Bay and it was this crazy struggle and people died and botched operation, etc., etc. Yeah, that happens. But I feel like it's more impactful when something like that happens. Uh, I've been posting about it. I've been continuing my Duna mission. I've driven from the equator to the South Pole. Holy cow! How long did that take? Wait, don't. I don't know if you should tell me. Yes, my love?
What kind of pasta do you want? You want your bow ties?
Sure. I have no strong feelings, but you sound like you want to do bow ties.
I like bow ties, that's why.
I know you like bow ties. You know how I could tell?
Why?
Because when we were like, we need pasta, you were just like, bow ties.
Yeah, you're right. Could you give me a flavor?
What do you need,
Can
baby?
you take my brace off? Because I want to start making dinner.
Okay, baby. I am getting hungry. That Pop-Tart did not hold me for very long, I suppose. There you go. Thank you. I know. I could hear him. The other thing is these walls were not necessarily straight. Especially if this road came first. I've been trying to sort of, I guess you'd call it beat Kerbal Space Program. I haven't gone through it in a long time. I don't think I even really, quote unquote, finished a career mode save ever. But now I got the DLCs, so I'm a little bit more incentivized. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna freaking do this. I'm gonna do this thing. Uh, and to come back to it, yeah, I have thought a few times about recording that, but I feel like I'm too far in to want to record it now. The fields come first with the road, or with the road. Probably a little bit after, considering how the wall sort of follows the road here. KSB for 10 years and I haven't beat it. Way, way, way back when, I could say that I felt like I beat Kerbal Space Program. I had sent like a probe everywhere. I'd landed on like everything. I think the only place I didn't go was Elu because it's too far away and it wasn't interesting to me. Oh, I haven't been to the asteroid either. But I'd been to like everywhere else. And sort of that was to me done. But that was pre-career and pre a lot of changes to the game. So, enter me now going, oh, I can take career and make it like really hard by making sure that everything I do is, hardcore mode, so to speak. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, we're going with that. And oh, Gloria just told someone, yeah, you beat it until KSB2 comes out. Well, then you know. Gloria just recommended getting on the bus to someone. Gloria's learning their transit chops. So, okay, there we go. We got that. But yeah, so that's kind of that's kind of where I'm at with Kerbal. I'm just sort of I want to get through the game. I'm doing it with all of the modern bells and whistles. I want to get through the game. The Kerbal alarm clock, the career system, science obviously comes with career. Hardcore, so I can't quick save anything. When I screw something up, it's final. No crew respawning. None of that stuff. So, again, just crank up the difficulty, make things really hard for myself, um, and sort of go from there. All right, so we're going to replace that with a wooden piece of fence. We're going to replace that with a wooden piece of fence. Sorry for my stuffy nose. I did think I was gonna woods this all in, but this is all older stuff. And honestly, some of these things between farm fields out here, I could probably do with the don't use time work unless you want to film Outlands Pain of an 8-hour Mun mission. Don't not. Yeah, no. I have thought about, what would it take to do a realistic, a one-time speed Kerbal playthrough? What would that entail? Not that I would do it, but I've thought about how that would work. And, it would entail setting a lot of like actual alarms uh, on my phone and sitting at the computer for long periods of time to get one mission done because I don't want to miss out on this burn I have to do. Uh, it seems very interesting, and I feel like if I had more free time, I would almost want to play the game like that just to see, just for a little while. I'm thinking something else I could do is I could play that way for like a week. And maybe just stream Kerbal the whole time. I would have to block out the whole week, but I would just sort of come back to it periodically. Gloria's threatening the animals with a knife. Alright, this road has to go around. But yeah, no, I've thought about that. Probably not going to be doing it, but I've thought about it. You entertain the thought, So to go, okay, well, how bad would this be? Oop. Okay, I can't attach those two things together. Duna mission, I want to send a hopper that can land on other parts of Duna. Are you using just Sandbox then? I feel like science without career is... They're not pointless, but it's a downgrade to me. Again, because science is going to be your most precious resource. Ares from Voyage would be good. God, it's been so long since I've read that book. What a damn good book that is. I know we've talked about it prior. What was I saying? Hold on. At least I'll wheel off camera to blow my nose in my allergy hell. Alright, so... This I can go all the way to... Let's say over here. Oh, that'd be cool. Do that. Do that and send pictures. Yeah, no, I absolutely should reread that book. It's worth it. So Triton 2 in career mode. What do you mean by your pretend scientist? I know we're limited via YouTube comments, but I'm curious. Or YouTube streaming. I'm going to make a guess that it has to do with you've got to feels too you mean constrictive? I assume it's like you've got to go from, to here first, and then to here, and then to here. Like you've got to go to the moon before you go to Minmus, and then Minmus before you go to Duna, etc. That's my guess anyway. I would also assume you're trying to do that as thriftily as possible. Yeah, see, that makes sense. That's not too bad. Or are you saying yes to me saying you mean constrictive? Uh, never mind. I see. On the one hand, constrictive. On the other hand, it makes you think. It makes you work to get something. That's what I think about it. On the other hand, like I was saying at the top of the show, you snowball really quick on normal settings in career. You can start just racking up the science. You know, I can hear him from here. Holy crap! Yeah. All right, you can start racking up the funds. The science is your bottleneck. It doesn't strike me as very constrictive. I feel like I can build rockets that are more absurd than what I need. I built something that has way more delta V than I probably need, and can do like everything more than everything I needed to do in the Kerbin sort of system, not like the Kerbal system, obviously, but Kerbin, Minmus, and Mun. Uh, I can I can do all those with this rocket, and it costs me like a tiny, tiny fraction of the funds that I've accumulated. I have millions of funds, and I don't know what to do with them. It's it's kind of absurd. It feels absurd. I don't feel like I should be able to do what I'm doing. Um, but I can't diss someone that doesn't want to play. I'm not trying to diss anyone here. I'm not trying to diss you or whatever. It's to each their own. It just doesn't. I'm just saying, to me, it doesn't seem that way, and it seems like I can totally build whatever the hell I want. Uh, you know, Aside from the parts limitations, but even then, you strap. Once you get like the second uh, VAB and launchpad upgrade, then you can launch whatever you want. And then it's just strapping all sorts of crazy smaller parts together. Because it almost encourages that if you're not getting enough science. Oh, I need to go further afield. I need to go further afield. Okay, here we go. Time to like stick 6 of the smaller stage size, the 1.25 meter, I guess I think it is. And not like the tiny ones, but yeah, the 1.25, I think it is. Just time to stick a whole bunch of these together and just go. I don't know. Yeah, to each their own, but I just wouldn't. You know, I don't know when the last time you gave it a shot was, but it's worth it. I feel like it's good. Um, you can get away with all sorts of giant F off stuff. In fact, I see. That's the thing is maybe it's my own damn fault because I just don't. I never. I could never make a mission profile that I want to do really badly. Uh, Whereas the thing about career, the best part about career for me, isn't even the progression or trying to like ad lib your rocket building. Um, it's trying to figure out how to make the contracts happen. Because there were 3 separate spacecraft. Did no docking, not because I can't do that, but because I didn't want to. Alright, see you, Orion. Have fun painting. Anyway. Oh my god. I can hear the cat squeaking from the other room. Mars Direct Mission Architecture. That's me. Thoray's making like a chicken Alfredo. Oops. There we go. And there. I didn't try to make a 0-length spline. Oops. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Erosion. That's all I have to say. Erosion over here. There we go. How about that? Just push it in there. I wish I could tip it over. Anyway. Sorry, back to Kerbal talk. So I've had a contract. I want to give an example of this. I've had a contract to dock two vehicles around month. Or dock 2 things around month. First of all, I get why people have trouble with docking, but I've never had trouble with docking. I can dock anything. Number 2. Apparently, if the 2 things are from the same craft, doesn't count. So, I had an Apollo style sort of thing. Not totally, but reminiscent of. And when I redocked those 2 things, it didn't count. So, alright, whatever. And that was my test run. It didn't have anybody in it. I actually did a whole landing and launch automated because that was the easiest thing for me to do to make sure that it worked. And after doing that, I sent out the manned one. Now, I then had an idea, which is, okay, well, this isn't, yeah, it's a learning curve. It is a learning curve. I was like, okay, this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna. If I redock these 2 things together, it's not gonna matter. I mean, I did get to do the mission. I landed a Kerbal on the moon, second try. First one died. But you know, I second try. And of course that Kerbal's gone forever. It's dead forever. That's because that's how I play. And I took the 2 crafts and I put them sort of near each other, and I just went like, okay. So if I take one and dock it with the other, that should count. But at the same time, I had a Minmus mission going on, and I had a Minmus contract to check the temperature in flight above a bunch of places. The last one was at like 3,300 meters off the surface, which is really low. Even for Minmus, that is like half of the highest point on Minmus. And I went, okay, this is going to be difficult. F it, I'm just going to land it. And so I took my satellite, which had plenty of delta V, and it's Minmus, so tiny, tiny gravity. And I landed it. On the way down, I did the contract. So I'm sitting on the surface of Minmus with this thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay. Oh, you know what? I have to do something really important. Delete missing assets. That should get rid of that. While it does that, I landed this thing, not quite on the engine because it had outboard engines. The reason it did is because, okay, I had a contract to test those engines in the orbit of Minmus. So I built I took my normal satellite, I took the normal engine off, I strapped those on instead, and then I took those out to test them in the orbit of Minmus. Took them in the orbit of Minmus, ended up using that same satellite to get all of the temperature crafts, because I put a thermometer on it as well, the temperature counts, including the one which was basically on the ground. Took the thing, landed it. I've still got like 1,500 meters per second of delta V in this satellite. Like, again, it's absurd. It's a ridiculous amount. And what am I gonna do with it now? Thought about it. Oh, it doesn't have a docking port on it, but since engineers can pick up the junior docking ports, I can run this thing over to a station that I was asked to build in lunar orbit and dock it to that station, and then I'll be able to recover the science data from the surface of Minmus. And so, instead of the really complex singular missions, you end up wrapping your contracts into, like, okay, what have I got in the air right now? Again, doesn't really matter because you accumulate funds way too quickly. But if I had to be thrifty, which I would like to be, and if I'm going back to the beginning, I'm going to do it with very limited fun. I'm going to probably turn the funds generation down by like half. And even then, it probably wouldn't be enough. But that is what it is. It's one of those things where you end up trying to get the most bang for your buck, and it leads you to still design relatively interesting, complex things instead of, okay, I'm going to put every single possible bell and whistle on this spacecraft. It is, what is the minimum amount of spacecraft I can use to complete all these things that require bells and whistles? And sometimes that still is something really ridiculous. I admittedly haven't gotten that far, but I've landed a guy on the moon, and I've landed a satellite on Minmus. I've done like 7 other automated lunar landings because I had a contract that wanted me to check the temperature at a bunch of different spots on the surface of the moon. I like the temperature contracts, if you can't tell. And I didn't have enough delta V in the little landers that I was using to use them in more than one location, so they were expendable. I would land the thing, and almost invariably I would try to get it to the next spot, and I would crash it. Or I would just crash it on the way down because the spots were all on like really canted edges of craters and stuff. So I ended up doing like 8 different lunar landings with these expendable little landers, which weren't gathering me any science, but they were gathering me plenty of funds, or they were gathering me a little bit of science because some of the temperature readings were in places where I had not been. And now my next issue is I need to take a capsule of some kind, a capsule or probe core, and bring it back to Kerbin. And I don't know how I'm going to do that with the way that my lander is set up. I think I'm actually going to have an engineer. I'm going to have an engineer take the probe core off of one of these landers if I can find one that has the like 800 meters per second of delta V or 400 or whatever it is to get off the lunar surface. If there's one of them that survives and has that left, and I can get it into lunar orbit, and I can steal the probe core off it with an engineer, or maybe I can just strap a parachute to it and send it back to Kerbin. A parachute and a heat shield. Anyway. It gets complicated. It gets messy. I wish I was recording more of it. But it's like my chill out single player game, which I feel like these days I should probably have one of. I've got like enough room in my life for like one game I religiously play with people and one game that I religiously play by myself. And it looks like those two games are right now Run 8 and Kerbal Space Program. And I'm not upset with that at all. And also one game I play with Gloria, which is Minecraft. And probably always going to be Minecraft. So, yeah, there are two things that have revolutionized vanilla Kerbal Space Program for me. Number one is the alarm clock being in there by default. It means I don't need to get mods. And if I don't need to get mods, if I don't need to get singular mod, it means that I don't need to go crazy, load up my game with all sorts of ridiculous mods. Ferrum Aerospace, TAC Life Support. Some of the stuff is already added. Like, yeah, life support isn't. But I believe the aerodynamic physics have gotten better over recent dish patches. The parts, we have more parts than ever, especially with the DLCs. The comm system was added, some time ago. And that's very cool. The ability to refine fuel was added some time ago, and that's very cool. And those are all things that were originally mods that I would have got. And possibly somewhere I still have my list of mods. But point is, it's not it's not mandatory for me to mod out my Kerbal Space Program anymore, which makes it so much more playable. Even though, in fairness, the stuff that I used to do on the YouTube channel was basically all vanilla. I don't remember too much. The only thing I really remember from the Kerbal Space Program series of videos that I did on the channel was the Kerbal Cruiser, and I would love to replicate that someday. But it really had not a lot of purpose. But I would like to replicate it for old time's sake. The thing I like about the DLCs is just it's a relatively small thing, but it's them adding the intermediate parts, and I know that's the Making History DLC. In terms of parts, I feel like the Making History DLC is the better of the two, unless you like robotics, in which case, obviously, the robotics one is better. I mean, it's no contest. I have Kerbal Engineer, Kerbal Alarm Clock, Space Station Parts Mod, and Visual Mods. Yeah, see, Kerbal Alarm Clock in the base game couldn't be more useful. It's the best. It's like when people were, oh, I just got Kerbal Space Program, get Kerbal Alarm Clock. Get it. You're going to need it. You're going to want it. You're not going to only want to do one thing at a time. You're going to want to have other missions running at the same time. It always felt like I was wasting time when I would send out these crazy missions to Jewel or whatever, and they would, sort of do, they would do like a lot of cool stuff when they got there, but in the meantime, it's just years of waiting, or really years of time warping. And as fun as it is doing the time warp again, you're missing the opportunity, and in career mode, you're missing a lot of potential contracts. Because contract opportunities sort of are fleeting. You have ones that'll pop in your inbox and be gone within hours because they expire. And that's why basically whenever I'm doing missions in KSP now, I'll do like one maneuver, set an alarm for the next one, go back to the Space Center, and see what kind of contracts they have. Unless I am all full up on contracts. Of course, the final upgrade to the Space Center in career, uh, yeah, right. It's helpful. Uh, the Space Center in career, you can get unlimited contracts, so it's not like you're, oh, sorry, my contracts are full. Let me just skip till I'm done with one. No, it's you're always thinking about, oh, can I take on another one? Can I take on one that's worth my time, right? But we come back to the funds, the funds. Doing the crappy contracts is, well, first of all, basically nothing reduces your reputation. I feel like it would be interesting to reduce your reputation when you killed a Kerbal. I don't think it does. And in fact, I kind of want to look that up. Hold on. KSP reputation.
Are you talking about one game while playing another?
Yeah. So, what's up? Just coming in here to say hi?
Yeah.
Hi, I love you. Oh yeah, I heard the cat. I heard him like the whole time. He was loud. For him, anyway. I hope he got some now. So, yeah, okay, I'm looking at this. And high reputation does three things. Mission control gets more contract slots. Difficult contracts, like incoming contracts, are offered more frequently. Upper limit of reputation is 100%. The graphical gauge makes knowing the exact number difficult. Reaches 25 mark in the first green section is centered within the gauge. Reputation 20. Unadjusted value of 250 out of the possible 1,000. Reputation unadjusted as a non-percentage. You're seeing his currency. Okay, so failures in contracts mostly. I feel like you should. Sorry, I just got distracted with that. I feel like you should lose reputation for killing a Kerbal. But I guess Kerbals are just all pretty suicidal, so I can understand if it doesn't matter. All that matters is if you're doing your contract or not. Man, this is like peak capitalism. It would be like a line of code. It doesn't strike me as being that difficult. It's just like, oh, your reputation is reduced when the number of lost Kerbals ticks up by 1. And I feel like it should tick down by a lot for a dead Kerbal, but really losing a Kerbal is a penalty in and of itself. You've got to hire a new one, which is expensive, and you lose the trained skills on the Kerbal, and also you feel bad, which is the most important part. That's another thing that I like about, Kamikaze Kerbal. Kama Kerbal. That's another thing I like about career is the crew leveling up. It adds sort of another layer to things that I hadn't really considered, and I'm thinking about, okay, which crew do I send on this mission? The one that's leveled, and so it has a better G tolerance and has like more skills and whatever, or do I have a probe core that can handle the piloting? So I send this kind of Kerbal and one that isn't leveled up, so that when they come back from the mission, then they'll be leveled up. It's a good question. And I thought about having so there's a couple of things that can augment that. Obviously, you can change whether they do level up or not at all, but you can also change whether or not they level up on the fly. Like, oh, I've got enough experience, boop, I've leveled up. In the middle of a space flight, Jebediah Kerman has reached level 2. Or when they go back to the Space Center. And now the first one seems more, realistic to me. Oh, you've learned whatever. Uh, but the skills that they learn don't strike me as things that you would learn on the fly. So I sort of rationalize it by saying, well, they would go back to the Space Center and be, taught or trained using the experience that they've gained in the field, but on specific things that obviously you can't just magically learn how to make science yields better. Or maybe you can. You can't just learn how to point to a spacecraft. Maybe you can. Point is, that's how I rationalized it. And the only way you can really lose reputation is by messing up the contracts. But I suppose having a high reputation isn't really a bad thing. It doesn't snowball because the rewards get exponentially smaller as you get towards the top of the scale. So, well, I don't know if it's exponential, but they get smaller. Um, so, where does that leave us? Well, it only leaves us with the problem of, okay, we're getting too many funds. And like I said, I would love to just cut my funds generation in half, but any changes I feel necessitate going back to the beginning, and I don't want to do that right now. So yeah, I feel like I've gotten far enough. I don't want to restart. I've already spent several hours in the save file. I don't think it tells you, but I have spent a good number of hours in that save file. I wonder if I started it 2 weeks ago. I started it more than 2 weeks ago, but what are my hours in Kerbal Space Program in the last 2 weeks? Let's find out. Playtime. Doesn't say. Show more details. It doesn't say how many hours I have in the last 2 weeks. I thought, I thought, I thought it used to do that. And now my Steam is stuck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's not, properties. General. No. I don't know. Yes, my love. It's dirty. Oh, well, that's a shame. Oh, it was touching a pipe. Oh well. We'll use it on the house of someone we don't like. Yeah. It's the emergency toilet paper for when you've got no other options. Anyway. So we filled these out. It's almost 9 o'clock. I really just did a lot of deliberation, but I'm liking the way this area is. We've got a general store, we've got a church, and we've got, let's call this the Old Lime Grange, or something. Uh, it's the Masonic whatever you want to call it. It's the bubonic. We'll call it bubonic temple. Who pinged me? Oh, that's very cool. I like all the flags. Um, but anyway, yeah, I have been to 2 foreign bodies that are not the planet Kerbin, and I still have only the basic solar panels. So I think I'm okay with what I'm doing in terms of science gathering. Um, I feel like anyway. Hey, kitty. Uh, maybe I could reduce science by just a hair, but it always feels like I'm scrounging for science. And the thing is, because my science output is boosted by my strategy, reducing my funds take would also reduce that. And I'm not sure by how much, but it's something worth considering. It's something where I should be thinking about that, and I shouldn't just be reducing stuff across the board, because thanks to the administration building, which was a really cool ad if you ask me, everything's sort of interconnected. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll need the more funds for, like, upgrading the buildings. Then I haven't needed to upgrade much of anything, and I've sort of just, again, I've just snowballed. I've just accumulated more and more and more money. So, well, let's finish this. These are the more commercial farms. The other ones are a little bit more personal, I guess. These are a little bit bigger. And this saves us from just using a tree line as a break between every sort of... I don't want to call this a biome, but it's basically a sort of... It's a quasi-biome in terms of route building. So we'll have, you know, the pastures, you know, sort of... We've got the swamp as a break here. And then we have some smaller pastures, some increasingly large pastures, the largest pasture, and then small farms, larger farms, giant farms, and then into just full-on farm territory, which is going to last us all the way through to... I mean, let's look at the map really quick. Hold on. Maps. Tolbrand. Tolbrand superimposed, and I'll share this with everyone as I do. As it loads up. Farm is all the way to probably here, or so. And then forest in here, around whatever town this is. Which I might push this town up a little bit to here, and model it sort of after... Let's see. What's a good town? I'm thinking like Dover, New Hampshire, but smaller. Because in Dover, you have the mills here that are right on the river. Yeah, I mean, Dover is probably not a bad... Population is 32,000. So yeah, Dover, but a lot smaller. I think I need to find something along a river that isn't as built up. But the issue is, these towns are, as usual, always going to be more built up now than they were 50 years ago. So I'm just following the Saco River up. It's a reservoir. This is a town which probably had a mill right here once upon a time. Although it's winding around a lot, so that means this is fairly flat. Strikes me as being probably fairly flat. But I know we're getting up here into Maine. Yeah, not as small as Lovell. Maybe like, yeah, South Paris. South Paris. This is about the right size. Population was 2,000. Yeah, so that's about what I was thinking. Everybody left because I was talking about Kerbal. Oh, I should probably put the name on the map here. I think it's an Ariel. Yeah, there we go. It's Ariel. Like the mermaid. Also, it might be 9-point font instead of 8-point. Why did I put an N? I'm checking to see the size against this. Or is it like Arial black? No. Yeah, I think it's just Arial. Pan Am. There we go. Anyway, there's the town of Pan Am. I'm missing... This is spelled wrong. I'm missing a little bit. Ooh. Well, that's a 4-track tunnel, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that. We need to have a Hoosick tunnel analog in this route somewhere. The only thing is 5 miles is like this long. So a tunnel that goes from here to here. But imagine trying to squeeze down a 4-track main line to 1 track to get it through a tunnel like that. I might squeeze it down to 2. That would be interesting. Oh, and the Hoosick tunnel had 2. Huh? How about that? We're going to have a Hoosick tunnel right here. We're going to have a Hoosick tunnel, and it's going to be 5 miles long. Well, it's probably going to be shorter than that. But let's say from like here to here. That's probably 2.5 miles. It's calling me. Okay, and you know what else is calling me? Oh, yeah, I might need to run to the bathroom before we continue this episode, which will be with spreadsheets. So stay tuned. Give me like 5-10 minutes. Let me go to Olive, and if anybody shows up, tell them I'm on the can. I'll be right back. distracted by kissing you. Alright, I'm back. Webcam back on, screen back on. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. Hopefully maybe I even gained somebody. Nope, I didn't. Alright, so there's two things that I want to talk about with regard to spreadsheets. I said spreadsheet, it scared everybody else off. This is the new spreadsheet. The SS means superseded. It's not the Gestapo. So here we have switch lists, is what I've entitled it. It was the old name for the thing. I'm keeping the name for now. We have a list of all the industries and how much they produce in terms of carloads and how much they have left over. So if, say, this produces 20 carloads of lumber. If I say operation carloads 20, it takes out 20. Boom, done. Oh, you know what I realized? I need to spin this thing around, don't I? Because, oh, I know. Because it's just a positive number or a negative number. Okay, so we have this. If we say, okay, switched by train GER01, 091, who cares? Empty 2.4 meter pallets, it spits out 6 carloads in a day. That's quite a bit. Is that true? We'll get to that. Doesn't matter right now. And the first maneuver by that does that, and it does it at 10 a.m. And then there are 4 left over, so I've got to have another train that comes by and takes the other 4 later in the day. Okay, understand how that works? Good. Now, there are 2 things. That was number 1. The second thing is, first of all, are we serious? That does 4, or it does 6 carloads? Maximum 6, current 6. Yeah, it does. Wow, okay. Sure. That's quite a few. This is less complicated than it looks. Rail car balance. Cars arriving from, cars arriving to. There's another thing that we need here. Now, here's the issue. So these are all our freight cars. These are all our industries. This is the commodity balance. So this how many things. This is a big view. This is okay. So you've got 4 carloads of ammonia being consumed here in Olive. They're coming from Gilson City. Good. Now it's balanced over here. Get it? That's what we put in. That's how we balance that out. This is very complicated and very annoying, and we will get to this someday, but not today. We don't have a second yard to work with yet. The next yard that we're going to work with is Bellington, actually. It's Bellington. And Bellington is actually going to be handling Pan Am, because that's the way the tracks are facing. Appleton, everything coming off of the Mansfield Branch Railway, obviously, and probably this town, and also this town, maybe. Actually, probably just this town. So Bellington's going to handle this area. So again, everything coming off the Mansfield Branch Railroad, from Appleton, from Pan Am. This is way too big. The Pan Am text is too big. Whoa! I'm going to put that down to 8. Yeah, I think that's right. These are just big, is the issue. Anyway. So Olive handles everything in this catchment area. It handles Olive, Adams, Mason's Landing, Mason Valley, so it handles the Valley Line, and Doe Cliff. Even though Doe Cliff is technically on the other side of the bridge. In fact, it may not even handle them. The thing is, I may consider the this its own thing. Yeah, most of this is going to be handled by Summit. Actually, the Appleton's going to be a weird one because we've got two railroads that are coming in. And this is going to be a weird one too. My spreadsheets are not totally going to cover everything. Encircle the area so I don't forget. Yeah, that's probably a good point, but it's covered on here with these locations. So Butler Industrial Park, Downtown Olive, the Gilson Eastern Main Line, Lionhead, Mason Valley. Drawing it on the map is not important, but I may do that in the future because, like I said, I may be doing other arrangements. This is top-down stuff, and the passenger timetables, they probably don't belong on this, but they're here anyway. In fact, I should probably copy them to a fourth spreadsheet. The thing is, this is local trains way freights. Because these are the trains that will be directly switching the industries. Which means I probably want another tab. And it's going to be called Trainz. And we're going to have what? So we're going to want the origin, we're going to want the destination, we're going to want the power. We're going to want the consist at start, which should be probably the same as the consist at completion. Yeah, so hold on. ID, sorry, railroad ID, origin, destination, origin, destination. What else did I say? Consist, which is going to be like the next several columns. Oh, I guess this would be called symbol. Power, origin, destination, consist. Oh wait, I'll just do it like this. What am I doing? So maybe the consist doesn't matter. Maybe the power doesn't matter. Oh, there's just too many things that are going on. There's too many things that are going on. This is stuff that works within the yards. It's all going to be hub and spoke for the sake of my sanity. But what about the stuff that has to move internally? How do I keep track of individual cars? Say the milk cars that are going to... Nobody cares. The milk cars that are going to Olive but get dropped off at Mason's Landing. How do I deal with that? I'm limiting myself with the system, but I don't know how to make it less limiting. All right, let's see if we can get my gears to turn. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can be productive. Because what this allows us to do at a very basic level is make sure all the industries are switched. That's number one, and that's basically all this is good at. This makes sure the industries are balanced across the whole map. This makes sure the rail cars are balanced across the whole map, and probably should be on a different spreadsheet. Along with a thing of how many things are in the same how many cars are in each yard at the beginning and end of each day. Okay? This is for stuff going between yards. This is for stuff going between yards. They both have to do with trains. But this has to check empties. That's the issue with this, is the multiplexing. This we haven't been able to use yet because we don't have multiple yards yet, technically. And the railcar balance is a total other issue, right? This whole sheet is just industries and commodities. This is the outlier, this one right here. So if we do we have this thing, take note of our consist and our origin and destination. What? Yeah, but hold on. Gears, brain. Um, 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 not yet. Um, okay. Sorry, a little bit derailed for a second, but I'm coming back to it. So, what does this do? Make sure all the industries are checked. This makes sure all the commodities are balanced. Something needs to make sure all the rail cars are balanced and keep a running tally of which trains are going where. I think we need another spreadsheet. However, local trains will probably have the same arrangement coming out and going in. Going out and coming in because of the way the map works. Except for places where cars are stored overnight, which then presents a sort of issue. And we're back to the issue of the railcar balance is not granular enough. We need to have internal and external railcar balance. We need to have where the cars are coming from inside each of these on top of on top of this. But that's almost too specific. It's going to be a lot to keep track of over the course of a day. And I am confident, but not confident, that what we could do is sort of forget about that and just make sure that we know that cars need to go back where they came from at the end of the day. It's easy because the cars need to go back where they came from. We don't need to track them day over day. Which is sort of what this is for, to make sure that cars go back where they came from, to make sure that the balance of cars is even. But this is the macro and not the micro, again. I need a more powerful tool than Excel, I feel like. How do they do it in real life? Probably with more powerful tools than this, that's for sure. Route seeding is going poorly because I've run into spreadsheet problems. If we say, for simplicity's sake, that we need every single one of these cars to be available. So we're talking 2 cars for wood chips, then another one for grain, and then 2 more for the sheep, and then 2 for the scrap metal, 1 for the general goods, another one for the general goods, 2 for the beer, that sort of thing. This doesn't care about the car. This just cares about the car loads. Maybe I should just be comparing everything with tools instead of trying to make them interconnected, just to make sure. The railroad is the thing that's interconnecting them. But the thing is, every single train could have its own spreadsheet just like this. How far can we abstract these things? All we need to make sure is that the trains are switching the industries, that the cars are ultimately balanced. I think that's it. All we need to make sure of are that the trains are switching the industries and the cars are ultimately balanced. And the loads, the commodities are balanced. That's the 3 things. Are the industries getting switched? Are the commodities balanced? And are the cars balanced? In that order. So how do we get this on the page? How do we get this on the page? How do we get this on the route? And how do we name these trains anyway? Okay, let's go to standards. Train numbering. Locals only use 1 abbreviation. Number is appended and incremented for each train in a day. Number 1. GE1 or OL1. So this is why this is useful. Railroad. GERR. Symbol OL1. The power and consist maybe aren't important. Olive. Or maybe even we can go deeper than that. We can say olive. what is the name of the yard here? Is it just Olive Yard? I mean, it's the Butler Industrial Complex. Or it's the Butler FC Hawks Industrial Complex. Which I think if I go into here, this is what I want to go by. Butler Industrial. It's just called Butler Industrial Park. So, or Butler Yard. I should just call it Butler Yard. But everything else is called a Butler Industrial Park to this point. We'll say it's called Butler Yard colloquially. But so this is how we're going to do it. Insert one column right. Butler Industrial Park. And we'll merge these two cells. Insert one column right. We know that these cars are going to be taken out of one and put into the other. In this case, we know that power the consist is not important. What is important is the car balance along the length of the route. That's what's important. All right. So this is how we can keep track of stuff. Car balance. If we do if I have to have it pick up 20 empty cars at the Olive thing, we'll worry about this later. But if let's say I have to have it pick up 20 cars at, let's go down here to the mill. If it's picking up cars that are left in the siding here, then I would say, plus whatever cars, plus number, and then the kind of car, and then the location. And that way we can correspond that with the number of, basically, we can make sure that balances at the end of the day. This is how we do the micro without making another giant spreadsheet like that. It's just going to be each industry. It's just going to be each industry. Yeah. Yeah! So we will keep track of if they're dropping off or picking up cars on top of if they're dropping off or picking up loads. And it means that we do need to keep track of individual sidings as well as individual industries. But at least we know. Or we can make a third tab for just sidings, for neither producers nor consumers, just sidings. That's a much better idea. I like that idea better. delete selected columns. Now, I think we do that later. I don't think we should do that right now. But I think this is fine. I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. Because we can have the type of car and the number. And in fact, we could even have it so that all the cars are listed and we just put in a number +1, -1. Because again, the types of freight cars we have are pretty limited. And that's on purpose. God damn it, I'm trying to click back to the live stream. Yeah, sure, I'll show the Tolbern map at the end of the stream. Oh, like the physical, like the in Trainz map, or the like drawing map? Okay. So here's where we get off. This is not about operations in order that the thing does it, because that part doesn't matter. What matters is getting all these things done. So, again, I don't know what we can do first, but either way, these are all pretty simple. And I'd like to think, get rid of the search filter. I'd like to think that we can do all these things sort of together. And it's going to be you as a thing. So, things on the olive branch. Particularly on the olive branch. So it's going to be down here. These things. The forestry is not being worked right off, I guess. We can work on that later. 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Picking up the wood chips, working picking up the lumber, picking up logs from the transload, and picking up, well, not picking up logs from the forestry. So, the transload I think I want to work at the end of the day. Because it makes sense to me that it would be worked at the end of the day. We could spot cars there in the morning. And I know Trainz fills them up instantly, but it would make sense to spot cars there in the morning. However, we don't have a way to show that on this spreadsheet, do we? We just have worked. We do need to put balance. We do need to put balance in over here. We do need to put balance in over here then. Because in my head, what's going to happen is we can have a bunch of crap cars in the yard overnight. Cars that serve the olive branch. And during the day, the yard's busier. So we need to keep them out of the way. So then they can be put up in the thing. Now, in the morning, we might have these cars on us, and the first order of business is to get them out of the yard. So, what do? Let me just grab a cut from over here. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And like I said, I don't want to switch these in the morning. We'll get the oil in on a train that's later in the day. It might even come over the BMR. So here's this, right? And the other thing you're doing is replenishing the general goods, because they would have come overnight. So because we know what commodity these are, we know what car they are also. So I am going to mark these columns so that we know where we are. Okay. And also I want to do this. This is actually much more important than that. Format, view, freeze. 2 rows. There we go. Alright, transload. Balance, 5. Plus positive 5. Switch by OL1. 0 car loads, 5 cars in. Approximate time unknown. So that means this fella is going to go down there, and he's going to put these 5 cars in there. We'll append 2 boxcars onto this train, because the things I do want him to do... Oh, we need to... Hold on. Insert 1 column left. Insert 1 column left. Insert 1 column left. And left. Insert 1 column left. Okay. So... I know balance isn't actually... Calling this balance is actually kind of incorrect with the usage we've been using of balance throughout the course of working on this route and the spreadsheets. But in this case, I'm going to let it slide until we find something else. Until we find a word I like better. How about that? Yeah, okay, those are the same. We also want to view, freeze, 2 rows. So where is olive branch? There we go. We want to have general goods 1, 1, or sorry, 1, 0. Also, this is OL1. Olive branch mill with coal drop off. That can also be done by OL1, 1, 0. Yeah, see, it even says balance right here. That's no good. We're going to need to fix that. Carloads. We'll just call it car balance. I like that better. It's a little bit more descriptive, a little bit more helpful. And it's clearly not the same as balance, which is over there in column G or whatever. So, and I'm going to assume that our industry is not going to be operated more than 5 times in a day. A yard track maybe, an industry no. So we can also possibly sort these by like approximate time. But that's beside the point. We're just doing it by industry now. So OL1, it switches these two car. Oh, sorry, that's in the wrong spot. Oh wait, no, it's not. OL1 1 0. So we're doing the coal car. We're doing the not the diesel fuel. Hey, hold on. Did I set this up right? Yeah, so now it goes red. So olive branch. This is done, and then these are done. The only thing left is the diesel fuel, which will be handled by OL2. The logs, which doesn't need to happen. And the other stuff that's coming off of this, which these logs are going to be last, as we've established, because they have to fill up throughout the day for the sake of realism. And then these two also are probably going to have to fill up throughout the day. The only thing different is the forestry logs. But if we work the mill at the beginning of the day. Hi, my love.
I'm gonna go relax.
Okay.
Please make sure you clean up.
Okay.
It's just put the pot away, so.
Okay.
Good night, guys. Love you.
I love you. Yeah, we can work these in the morning. Especially if we're going to send these out. I mean, what consumes lumber? That's in Mason's Landing. What consumes lumber in Mason Valley? Oh, sorry. What consumes lumber at Butler? This is 4. This is 3. And this is 2. Oh, that's Canal Island. So, the thing is, the train's got to leave to start working the stuff in Mason's Landing. And Mason's Landing takes 2, 4. Oh, I already figured this out last time, didn't I? Oh, that's Lionhead. Also, it's Mason's Landing. These aren't. That isn't. This is Mason Valley. Oh, sorry, yeah, Mason Valley. So that's 4. This takes logs, but we're not using it yet. This is 2. Because I don't think we're going to have... I mean, maybe we'll have the lumber left in overnight. We also need to balance these out still. So, are we short on lumber? Commodity balance. Lumber. No, we're up 14. Where's that coming from? Are we short logs? Oh, yeah, we are. That's right. That's a problem. We need 11 carloads of logs. So that means we need to get some logs out of here. Mason's Landing. Or sorry, Olive Branch. Olive Branch. Forestry. That's consumer. Are these in the same order? Yeah, they are. Okay. Olive Branch. Olive Branch Forestry. Logs. We need 10 carloads, so that's, what, 50 logs? Yeah. Oh, sorry. 100 logs. Are we balanced now? No. We need 110 logs at current. So that is that's a lot of empties that have to go up the line. And the thing is, because of the way this is facing, it's easiest to handle this when you're on the way back, not on the way out. Unless you want to stop here, cut off the first 5 cars, put them in here, run them around, or run around them, and then push them into here. Which is time-consuming and annoying. So what to do? How many times do I want to send this guy out, and what sort of tonnage do I want to curse him with? Basically. Because if I get the lumber that has to go out to the stuff in this yard immediately, which would be stuff for the mills, right? There's not a balloon loop up there. It's not, this isn't, that one railroad from the, short stories. Although that would have been neat to have out here, a balloon loop. Just we can't, fit that many cars out here. On the siding. The train has to stay relatively short. We can basically only do, well, let's see. How many cars at a time can we work reasonably? It's a short branch line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, 15 is starting to push it. The thing is, how many logs can this hold? So this is 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5 times 9 is 45, which is about half of what we need, and this is a long freaking train for that little mogul. It's actually, no, it's not exactly half of what we need out of this place. We need 110 logs out of this place. But that means we need to work this a lot. And I'm thinking, what if we have it work the other place on the way down? Oh, wait, this is only 45? Wait, really? Did I get that wrong? 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. It is 45. That is 4 cars. That's not a lot, actually. That's it. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 in one sitting from here. Okay, I guess that's what we're doing. Um, so this is gonna screw me up the more I change this around, but 1, 2, 3, 4. This is getting to be a bit lengthy. We're also gonna need a caboose. I don't think we have any caboose yet. Techno is dead. Uh, Wait, what were you saying? I want to make this seem realistic. Um, can I have some caboose? I need to download some caboose. Um, let's see. That's yeah. Okay, yeah, I've got these. That's right. These are the ones I wanted. Let's just throw this one on the end of the train for now. So, actually, yeah, you know what? These are appropriate to what we're trying to do. I like the last one most. This one seems long. Oh, it's an NE4. That's why. Undecorated. Neat. And you. Okay, so the first train out just is going to be switching. It's going to be putting 5 of these in the VUT on the way back down. It's going to be switching these 2 out. Which, honestly, I'll flip these guys around. There. And then it will be retrieving Here's the deal, though. I need to actually be loading up some cars. Or I'll just get them out of the yard here, and we will come back to fill them up later. Huh? So, switch list producer, lumber and wood chips. Oh, right, we're forgetting the coal car. Guess I won't worry about wood chips yet. This has got to be full. These have got to be full. Oh wait, sorry, which one is it? It's crate goods. Heavy stuff at the front, that's right. Take notes, Norfolk Southern. And it'll shove the train out of the yard onto the, the yard lead here, or whatever you want to call it. And then up this way, through the Y under the bridge, through the woods. And then stop here, cut off the first 4 cars of your train, pull them forward, run them around, push them into here, go back to your train, come up here, and the engine is on the right side for all this stuff right now. So there's really no choice, because there's no runaround here. You have to do this on the way up. So we will pick up 9 carloads, right? That's how much it is. 9 carloads of lumber that are sat here in the yard waiting for us. So, kill. And I think we already had those down here. Unless we want to bring those up on this run. Again, with the, I don't know how much pain and suffering I want to put this little engine through. It doesn't say how much weight this train is. It would be 9 flats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Kill. On the back end of this train. Because we have to take up the empties. And bring back the fulls. Unless those are sort of domestic quote-unquote cars and they never leave this area. In which case they can go right back because those are the only ones that are necessary. So, and I deleted my caboose. Oh, what did I just do? Alright. So, yeah. So this is it then. We've got to take our flat cars. We're going a little bit over time now, but I'm getting there. I'm starting to peel back the layers of how I think this is going to work. Give me this. All right, we have some over here, don't we? Just to make sure they're the right cars for lumber. Yes, they are. Fill these up with lumber. We will load them and stow them on a later run. And here's the thing now. Technically, OL1 won't be switching the industry. It will be switching these tracks. And that's what we can use this for. Yeah. On the sidings thing. Alright, I'll work on that off camera. So, let's check on the map, shall we? So, Mopac. This is the world of Tolbrand. Hopefully this is what you were asking about. Oh, both. This is the world of Tolbrand. The Tolbrand Peninsula. You can actually zoom out way more than this, but everything in the dotted line is what I intend to create. All the way down from the city of Wombeck to the south. to the city of Olive to the north, which is the area we've been working on. As you can tell, it has this underlay of the railroad. This area is mostly farmland. This area, as you can tell, is mostly mountains. This area is also mountains, but I haven't drawn them in. This area is mostly city. You can see if we zoom in, there's a bunch of relatively tight-knit interurban lines between the three major stations in Gilson City, and the Strait here, and the island, Meridian Isle. The yellow is the New Shoreham Tramway, which handles a lot of the interurban stuff. This is Zion. It's a steel mill. Kingston and Tidebow here on the cove. Wombeck here on the south. That's where all of the oil refining is done. And then we have railroads through the mountains, including this, which is the Volger Mountains, or Volger Mountains, Volger. It also runs through here at Columbia. This is a narrow gauge railroad, and they all run down here to Everett Lake, which is this large Lake Champlain-esque lake. There's mountains in here, which shouldn't come as a surprise. This is a big river valley, like something you'd see in West Virginia. Yeah, this is the world of the Tolbern Peninsula. I've modeled, or I've devised all the way into here, and there's a very large, like almost continental divide mountain range that snakes through here, but I'll never be doing really any of that. It's outside of the dotted line, and it'd be too much work anyway. The red line, as you can see, is a railroad that runs from Gilson Terminal here, through Clayton, Tombstone, Kingston, Tidebow, and then up into the mountains through here, and then out and across all the way to the city of Akron here. This green dotted line is an abandoned railroad that used to parallel it. Now, this is the area that we've been working on. We have Olive Cove and the city of Olive here. The two railroads, including the Gilson Eastern and the Volga Mountains mentioned earlier, and this river valley here. This is sort of where I ended off a few months ago, and then I picked it up again and started working in this direction. Let's compare that to the real life, or the real model. Spin this around. This is where we're at. This is the city of Olive, as mentioned. It is milling and residential. You have a major rail yard here. Sorry, the render distance is down, so you can't see very much. But you have a major rail yard here. You have the town here, which is residential. If I go down to street level, ignoring the lag, you've got houses and bushes and trees and shrubs, telephone poles, although this street doesn't seem to have them. As you get further down this way, you get toward the school. Things are a little bit more commercial. We're set in an Americana-esque 1950s. Here's your high school, your soccer pitch, tennis courts over here. You have a pump station. Your firehouse is down the other end of town. Commercial district over here, complete with a line that runs through and serves some of these industries in the middle. Scrapyard. And this is the Gilson Eastern Railroad main line. It runs out this way. If we follow it, you can see that it runs across this river here. And on this river, you can see the other railroad, which is on its way up the hill. This is the Volga Mountains. And you can follow that all the way up the mountain. This is more interesting than the shoreline for me. Crosses the road there. This is Ashbury Ranch. They raise horses. Hopefully this is coming through well enough. So we sort of bop back and forth between the road here. There's a passing siding where we meet the town of Adams, although the town of Adams is not down here. The town of Adams is in fact up there on the hill. Cute little town. Mostly for vacationers and hikers. We cross this road here and continue going up the mountain and cross a massive gorge. The Gilson Eastern is going along the coast here. It passes by creameries and pastures for cows, like this one. And then we reach Mason's Landing, which is modeled sort of after Old Saybrook, Connecticut. There's another yard here for trains that are coming through. This is where the milk comes to. There's a trolley that runs between here and up the valley, which we will go up the valley. It parallels the Valley Railroad here. Splits off into the woods. They cross each other right here. And then it crosses the river on a drawbridge right here. This is going to be the town of Doughcliff. This is the bridge. This is the Volga Mountains Railroad as it continues up the mountain, up into the mountains. And then we get into the town of Mason Valley, which is much more industrial than previous towns, but it still has its share of residential, some drawbridges, large mills, and we meet the narrow gauge here. So, this is about as far as I've got in this direction. In the other direction, we've been building towards the town of Pan Am. I was working on these today. These little culvert / duck unders. I think they came out very well. We've got a sexy bridge, as I called it. And these are just fields that I've been working on over the past several weeks. So, eventually we run into a little creek here and follow that for a while. But this has been your nickel tour of the map. Come back anytime. Man, have I got spreadsheets to do. I guess I'll just work on that right now. Why not? Why not? Let's keep the party going. Delete that. Okay. Consumers. Copy to. Or sorry, duplicate. Now, the thing is, this can go away. Because this is going to be a completely unique spreadsheet. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Oh, I should probably mark whether something's full or empty. And in fact, home yard location, name, track, home yard location, track, NA. Switch by commodity, car balance, approximate time. I want to make sure these are all the same so that I can relate them easily. But Location track. Well, this is a more vague location. We might have to narrow it down more. Put in a capacity. Balance. I guess we'll just sum all of these and call it a day. Oh, okay. So I do care about exceeding the capacity of a given track over the course of a day, but I don't think that's going to happen by accident. It could just be a note for me. And it'll say flash red if I... Location industry. Well, it shouldn't really say industry. I'll mark that as NA for now. Location name. Really, this should be track. And then this should be... This is usually commodity. I'm thinking like rail car, but what if we have multiple rail car movements over the course of a day? Maybe we just limit it to... Maybe we just limit it to one type per siding, but that doesn't make any sense. Why would we do that? See, I want this to be type of car, but I don't suppose that really matters. I don't feel like we're going to screw that up, is what I'm saying. What I feel like, what are the important things? We're not gonna mess that one up. We're not gonna be trying to take out boxcars when there's tank cars in there. Because I will be doing all these things by hand. I don't need to leave notes for somebody else. Maybe it will become useful later, but I don't know. I'm just going to call them empty or full. All right, I think we're cooking. I think we're cooking here. I think we can make this happen. I think next week we'll have a better idea of what we're doing. We're making progress here. I think being able to use this to track the movements of cars by locals between the different yards of the system. Because we can also use this to track yard tracks as well. I don't know if that's wise. We can use it to track whole yards that are within the same thing. This is like the micro. But I don't think we're going to screw that up either. Admittedly, I don't know if we would screw any of this up. Probably making it more complicated than it needs to be. But there's always the possibility that I am going to get confused through this whole thing, and I won't be sure what's gotten switched through the course of the day. And we need to make sure that we are doing that. And, to that end, we've got this, which, we're now producing 11, and as we go through and change that, and probably add more, we'll have to be mindful of that and add operations to this list. Currently we've got a train that's ready to go-ish. Just don't know what I'm going to need to keep track of. That's my problem. I don't know what I'm going to need to keep track of. Months, years down the line, when I'm trying to get all this stuff to work together, I'm going to need to know. Or I'm going to know then, but I don't know now. I don't know what's important and what isn't. I'm trying to look into the future and I'm not getting answers. We're back to where we were last week. And I don't have a complete picture yet. But this is a different kind of incomplete picture. This is more like, I don't know what I'll need, as opposed to I don't know what the world will need. I don't know what I will need. Just in terms of knowledge, meta knowledge. It's not like it's time that's preventing me from seeing it because I haven't made those decisions. It's time that's preventing me from seeing it because I don't have the experience to know. I think we're going in the right direction today. I think that this lets us do more than anything has before in terms of operations and making ops work. There should be a list of local trains. We have non-local trains. I think, as a matter of policy of sanity, we don't have freight trains we don't have freight trains work industries that aren't the main yards of these home yards. Because everything that is between home yard zones has to be done through this spreadsheet. And everything that's This presents a problem. This presents a problem unless we allow there to be overlap between the local and the way freights, which I seem to have set up in my other thing, but I wanted to get rid of that because it seemed too complicated, which what I mean is I seem to have set that up by allowing origin and destination, right? Say we have a freight that's coming from Gelson City and I wanted to drop cars at Mason's Landing that are going to Mason Valley before it goes to Olive and drops more cars. How do I notate that? I think the simple answer is I don't. I think the simple answer is I leave that stuff. I let the macro be the macro and the micro be the micro. And I say that those trains can still show up here and switch origins and destinations, or switch yards, or switch sidings, or maybe I don't worry about that interaction at all, unless they're directly putting it on one of the siding tracks. Do I include yard tracks in here? I don't know. How do I notate a yard switcher, if I do? This is the micro. I think I have to. Maybe I don't need to notate every move. Maybe I just need to notate when a train is leaving something there for, a stretch of time instead of I backed in with 3 cars and I pulled out with 2, and then I backed in with a different car and I pulled out with all 3. No. No, the home yards. Do I not take note of the home yards? I don't know, man. I'm gonna bash my head on a wall. I don't know. I can't do this. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay. Nobody's here anyway. Nobody's here to see me lose my mind. That's okay. Um, how do I make this work? How do I make this work? I can't unless I don't have wave rates. Really, that's it. I can't unless I don't have wave rates. This handles the macro. What handles the micro? Does this? Can it? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's gonna have to. It's gonna have to. It's going to have to. So how do I notate this? This train leaving with all these cars. Well, let's just call it track 1 for now. Capacity, who cares? Well, 1. Car balance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Why did this not update? Oh, wait. Taking 13 cars out of this. 13 cars out of this track. It's doable. It is doable. It's not great. It's a lot of work, but it's doable. I think that's where we leave it today. I'll see you guys next week. This is the Admiral signing off.